Hey everybody, it's Cincy, Antiguan SLP, and I'm here today to talk to you about play-based interventions, and the OWLS strategy. So first, let's just talk about why play is important. So play comes naturally for some children, and for others, they need some supports because it's just not as natural for them. They may not know how to play with objects functionally. They're not able to engage and interact with other people, other children, and that's where therapists and caregivers come in to reshape and teach them the skills that they need to be successful. So during play, here's why it's important. During play, it fosters language development, especially in the social context. So we're able to establish eye contact and shared attention, engagement, and turn taking skills. And turn taking skills in the way of exchanging turns while we're playing a game, and also conversational turn taking skills where we are teaching them that one person speaks, the other person listens, and then when the speaker is done, the communicative partner then replies. So it's very important. And I know a lot of parents, including myself, tend to kind of give their children technology to occupy their time. And although there are great games on the iPads, the phones, and even the YouTube videos, they are not the best way for your children to play. They need actual human interaction. And the American Association, or the American Pediatric Association, recommends no screen time for children under 2 and only 1 to 3 hours after 2. I know I'm guilty. I give my children iPads all the time, but it's something that we should stay away from. Like I mentioned, human interaction, like what we get from that, we cannot get that from an iPad. As humans, we are unique in our ways. For example, I'm a hand talker. I talk with my hands. Someone else might not. We communicate differently. We say things differently. There are just certain things that we learn from each other, and this is what will benefit a child with those play interactions. And play-based interventions or play-based therapy is exactly what it sounds like. It's play. It's structured play to a sense. However, it's not the parent taking that leadership role. You are now switching, because with the parent-child dynamic, the parents are usually in the superior role and the child is just listening and following directions. But in play-based interventions, it's completely flipped. The child is now in the leadership role. And that's where this OWLS strategy comes in. So OWLS, O, observe, W, watch and wait. L is listen, but I like to add that look feature because not all children are verbal communicators. So we're setting up this play dynamic. In the observe portion of it, you are watching your child. They are they're giving their attention to a toy or a game or whatever it is that has their interest. You observe them, and then you go over to them and insert yourself into what they have going on. Do not ask them, can I play with you? Because in some instances, they'll tell you no. So insert yourself. Let's say your child is playing with some blocks. You go over, hey, this looks like fun. You're playing with blocks. I want to play too. You insert yourself. Then this is where the waiting comes in. So you have to manipulate the environment. So your child is playing with blocks, he's stacking them, he's creating a tower or whatever it is. You withhold some of the blocks and you wait just about 5 to 7 seconds. And that should allow enough time for your child to initiate communication. So what you've done is create the need for communication. And this is where that look and listen comes in. So now in that period of silence, I know it might be awkward. You say nothing. This is the time for the child to say something, to do something. So in the look and listen, you're looking for a reaction from the child. You've withheld the blocks. and you're waiting to see what that child says. The child could say, give me, more, mine. If the child isn't verbal, he could vocalize and say, Or if the child knows signs, he'll do, that's give me, that's more. And you just follow that right up. Any of the ways that they communicated, you follow it up with the block. Here you go, put block on. Now, let's say your child gets really frustrated and they don't like the fact that you're withholding that toy. You should know your child. And again, it's only 5 to 7 seconds. If your child is already frustrated, you do not want them to escalate. So instead of waiting for them to ask you for that block, you say, oh, you want more blocks. Here you go, more blocks, put on. And this way, you're giving them language. So you're giving them the verbal by saying more blocks. And you can also use signs by saying more blocks, put on. So you could use the OWL strategy in play. And I also like to tell my parents, create that communication temptation at meal times in the kitchen, because you know that this is a time when they're extremely motivated. What I like to do for my children, well, when they were a little bit younger, in the pantry, you put their snacks at eye level where they can reach for it. In the refrigerator, where their juice boxes or their little snacks, you put it where they can reach it. For your children who you're trying to facilitate communication, you put those items, the desired items, you put them at eye level. They could see it, however, they can't reach it. This way, they need to come to you to say something. They could say, come, help me, open, eat. They say something. So you are creating that opportunity for them to communicate with you. You could take this strategy and use it at any point throughout your day, through your familiar routines. Just know it's okay to wait. And yes, all of the other times I have stressed, speak to your children, read to your children, give them that language. But understand, you are giving them that language throughout the day. For this 5-minute period, 10-minute period, 15-minute period, you aren't doing that. You want to give them the opportunity to use the language that you have been feeding them over time. I hope you enjoyed the information in this video, and I want you to stay tuned for a next video where I'll provide more tips to help you help your child to speak easy. Bye.